Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Liverpool Latest. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe. We do daily uploads here pretty much every day, so you'll never really miss any news. So don't miss a video and hit subscribe. Leave a like if you enjoyed, obviously, and comment down below to join in on the conversation. Got a couple things to talk about today. Chiesa being one of them, and something I touched on about a week or so now. Once again, those rumors are starting to rear their heads again, and conflicting reports are now taking place. We have some rumors about Slot and his position as manager within the team. We also have some transfer news that isn't necessarily going to be an immediate effect. And last but not least, we have some updates from Mo Salah at AFCON. So, let's talk Chiesa, shall we? Here is what I have gathered from this in all of my readings. One, I knew that these rumors had been talked about. I covered this maybe about a week or so ago. And even then, I still wasn't fully convinced. And now, there's conflicting reports on whether or not talks have even taken place at all. Fabrizio Romano was breaking about the fact that Juventus was interested and had put in for Chiesa, and Chiesa was interested in leaving, and there was a deal being done, and all of that jazz. Now, talks are being, those talks apparently never took place. No negotiations had been done, and there's no interest from Juventus formally in Chiesa as a player. So, I don't really know where to go from here, okay? Now, if I'm being honest with you, if Chiesa left today, I would not be shocked in the slightest. I mean, he's got 2 Premier League starts and barely plays. At times, probably one of the hardest working people on the pitch, and for some reason disliked by Slot to the point where he doesn't even start him in a pretty obvious game that he should be starting against Fulham. So, I really don't understand what they want to do with him, because I'm of the opinion that players only get better if they're actually playing the game. Throwing somebody in for 10 or 15 minutes every game isn't really going to give them much of an opportunity to show off their stuff, in my humble opinion. Starting them against weaker opponents probably would be the best shot, and then you can gauge from there their skill level. Training, you can always watch in training and see how they're doing there, but I think training is a bit of a... I'm not saying that training isn't important. I wouldn't know the first thing about training. I don't play soccer or football. So, but I wouldn't gauge a player's worth about how to play the game just based off of training alone. So, I don't really understand what the dislike, seemingly, from the coaching staff is with Chiesa, because he's been arguably one of the more consistent players for as little bit of time as he has played. Liverpool, I would like to think, see him as an important player and not just some extra body that they can throw onto the field. And obviously, he could be a weapon off the bench. But at the same time, is he really going to be a weapon off the bench when we're bottling passes every day in the final 15 minutes of a match when Chiesa is actually on the pitch? So, it's kind of up in the air for me. So, these reports are saying that his exit in January is unlikely. I personally do not see it that way. I think it's more likely Chiesa could leave. I just don't know if it will be against or be with Juventus or not. So, it's going to be something that is going to be interesting to follow. And I'm going to be honest with you, I hate the fact that there's conflicting reports, because I would have rather have just the reports had been that he was leaving. It would have maybe woken Liverpool up a little bit in the sense where it's like, oh shit, we're losing another weapon. Now we really have to go shopping. Because our star signing is hurt for what is probably the rest of the season, more than likely. And losing Chiesa would probably be the slap in the face that they need to wake up. But I know some people will probably laugh at that statement, but go like I've been saying for the last several weeks now. Go back and look at Chiesa's times playing on the pitch and tell me that he isn't arguably one of the harder workers on the field. That's all I have to say. Especially considering some of the goals he's come up with, some of the defensive plays. Is he perfect all the time? No. But I think that's also due to the fact that when he starts, he doesn't, I guess he's not used to starting and playing long minutes. So he's obviously going to be a little bit rusty in that regard. He's going to look a little shitty, as some people say. So either way, there's no Juventus contract as we stand right now. I feel like there could very well be one in the future, but we'll have to keep an eye on that for the rest of the month. Of course, I will be here to bring you that news, as well as this rumor I have been hearing from IndyCala News or IndyCala News, something. It's a news source that I've referenced quite a bit that posts very vague exclusives on Twitter. Sometimes they're correct, sometimes they're completely out of whack. This is one of those days where I feel like this is a completely out of whack report that has no validity to it unless they know something that we all as fans and other reports that are other reporting sites that I follow don't know. So they tweeted something earlier this morning. Today's Tuesday, by the way. So about 5 o'clock-ish in the morning is when this tweet probably came out, and I saw it very early or after, not too long after that. Arne Slot has been in direct contact with Liverpool Football's Liverpool's football operations regarding transfers and the team's current performance. Contract talks are suspended. He's been told the current unbeaten run is not good enough. Performances must improve if he is to keep his job next season. Where did that news come from? No idea. But it's an exclusive, right? Listen, I'm not going to sit here and say that they are credible in the IndyCala News, but what I will say is they certainly know how to get people talking because they clearly see all the conversation around Slot online. The anti-Slot rhetoric is now probably stronger and more than ever. And if anything, posts like this, whether it's legit or not, the news, it's the tweet itself and the news, is only going to rile up the fans more into a frenzy in regards to the anti-Slot rhetoric. And listen, I wanted to be on Slot's side. I am now myself in that camp with Slot. Like, I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt, but these last several months have just been clear as day to me that maybe he's just not the guy that we need for this team. And I think the recent performances have shown that. Injuries have played a factor, yes, but I think it's been very poor. It has been absolutely poor. And as Macca said in that interview, way too many changes at too fast of a rate, and it's created an instability amongst the teams. So there's no evidence that these contract talks have been suspended, clearly. I'd be shocked if this ever took place and Liverpool as football operations had the balls to do something like this. I also feel like the fact that it's something they should be doing, regardless of whether or not this is true, because the current unbeaten run consists of mostly draws against shit teams and barely winnable games against even worse teams. Okay? Yeah, there might be a couple of better teams thrown in there, but it's few and far between. Whatever this unbeaten run is that people hype up, it's nothing but garbage. So if big if, contract talks had been suspended because of that, or that was one of the factors leading to that, I wouldn't be shocked. I'd be happy. But clearly there's no public information, and it's clearly just hearsay at this point in time. Because, frankly, if the Mohamed Salah situation and how Liverpool backed him then gave any indication, I think regardless of whether a player throws a fit or whatever current results we're trying to garner that isn't enough, but somehow still keeps Slot still keeps his job. I don't think there's ever really any sacking of Slot realistically for this season. As much as we all want it to happen at this rate, there's no there is no indication because Liverpool as an organization and the football operations have clearly backed him before in situations that have been touchy. And will probably be another situation where it's like, hey, listen, you got until the end of the season to fix this, bro. We can't help you after that. So I have no hope that it's going to happen this season. But with any luck, and I'm not saying that we got to lose, but if by some miracle Liverpool gets destroyed by Arsenal on Thursday, so bad to the point where they have to second guess any of these reports or any of these conversations, I think we're in for some news come the Friday morning after, where we see Slot sacked. But what do I know? It's happened to Chelsea. It's happened to United in the same season, no less. It's happened to a bunch of different managers. Managers from all over Europe are either not taking any sort of contracts that are being offered to them or being outright fired. I think I saw something today that West Ham was another victim. So I would not put it past Liverpool to eventually make some sort of call. Whether it's the right one, we'll have to see. Speaking of calls, January is still looking pretty quiet as it stands right now. That said, we have been restocking the defensive pipeline, not fixing it, but certainly investing into the future as we have signed a couple of young players. I talked about Ndukwe earlier this week. We now have another potential signing, if not one that's already been signed, in Ndiaye. Excuse me. He is a left-sided center back. I believe he's 17 years old. Young guys that are getting signed, man. I think Ndukwe is also 17. So both are developmental signings and certainly not any sort of prospect for the senior first team. But what it goes to show for fans and me reporting is that clearly, right now, January is not a senior center back window for Liverpool. And even though I still have hope for Mark Gahey, I still have that hope. The moves that we are making is not addressing the current issues that we have right now. And the issue is as follows. Konate is still holding out for a contract, which I don't think he's going to get. Van Dijk is probably exhausted and aging, so that's not doing him any favors either. So we have to find a replacement for him sooner. We had Kwanzaa, and he faltered a bit, but they decided to ship him off somewhere. So there goes that idea. Also aligns with the fact that the Ordonez interest is cooling, which I have been talking about as well. I mean, those have been conflicting reports as well. And he clearly is not going to be someone that is signed. So there goes another option right out the back. And it's awful. I'm not very happy about any of this. The biggest issue we've had has been like the defensive center backs positions. And whether it's Van Dijk or whether it's Konate, it's mostly been Konate, to be honest with you. But the fact that we have not found any suitable replacements to actually help them is shocking to me. All right? Because odds are they're probably exhausted. They're playing every single week for a full 90 minutes. I mean, at this point, the risk of injury is probably like razor thin at this point for them. That risk is becoming very, very close. God forbid something happens. I would hate to see that. But if it did happen, who are we going to rely on? And that is the problem I'm having with this transfer window, in the sense that, yes, we are investing in the future by signing Ndukwe and Ndiaye, but it definitely helps the depth in the future, but it's not an immediate fix now, which has been my biggest concern. But that, again, I am just some asshole on the internet talking to you guys about my favorite football team and at least European football. And what do I know? But it's great academy additions. That's all I could say. I don't know too much about them as players. I'd have to do a little bit more research on that. But I look forward to seeing what they do in the future if they continue to stay within the team. Speaking of signings in Africa, because I believe they're both African names. Those in Diawe and in Dukwe. Mo Salah has been once again on fire in the AFCON tournament. My brother in Christ stepped in against Benin. What is this? Benin? I never heard of this country. I don't know. I didn't know it existed, unless it's something that has been around and I just forgot. But the fact that we came in and just fucking kicked the shit out of them, man. They actually were talking shit on social media. I saw it, like the official Benin football account, or I think it was anyway, posted what seemed to be an AI generated video. There's no way that this wasn't, of one of their players in a pharaoh costume whipping Mohamed Salah. Now, on paper, you're probably wondering to yourself, oh, fuck, that does not look politically correct. It wasn't, but it was fucking hilarious. Even as a Salah fan, I sat here and was like, wow, these guys are assholes. But god damn it, that's genius hype for this match. Lo and behold, Salah takes what is essentially a bunch of taxi and Uber drivers to another victory in a 3-1 win, moving them on to, I believe, the round of 16, which is really good. I don't know how Egypt does in the AFCON tournament, but it's, from what I understand, compared to last year, it seems like they're doing really good. They're doing really good, and I actually am pulling for Egypt to win the whole thing, frankly, because I want this for Salah more than anybody. I mean, if I can be frank, I could give a fuck about the rest of the Egyptian national team. I want this for Salah, and Salah only, because he's my guy. He's been my guy since I've been a fan of this team. But and here's what I don't understand, because I need help figuring this out. The match was already won at this point, or at least I don't know how this tournament or this section of the tournament goes, or what the African football rules are, but Salah scores in the 124th minute, when there wasn't even a draw at that point. Like, there was no reason. What was the deal with so much extra time? Like, I've seen this before where some teams have a lot of extra time, or like overtime periods or something like that, or sections of the match. And I just don't know where that 124th minute comes from. I genuinely don't. I'd have to look into the rules for this, but the fact that he just absolutely willed his way into one last goal for his team to solidify a win was absolutely clutch. Like, God bless that man. Jamie Carragher's a dickhead for everything he ever said about him this season. Oh, he's 34 and his legs are gone. Man's still captaining that team, pulling them to victory. We love that shit. Leadership. That's what we need. We need a fucking leader on the field. And Van Dijk, as much as I love him too, is not doing that for me right now. But, yeah. So, they're moving on. I don't know who they're playing next, but I will find that out, and I will talk about it come that match, because I am looking forward to seeing what they can do moving into the next round after that, which I think is the quarterfinals, something along that line, or is it the quarterfinals they're in now? I'm not sure. The tournament is confusing to me. I've been trying to keep track of it as much as I can. I'm still reeling off the 124th minute goal. Like, where the fuck did that come from? But either way, Egypt wins. Salah gets a goal. That's all we need to know for today. Thank you for watching Liverpool Latest. I appreciate you being here, and leave a like down below if you enjoyed, and comment as well to join in on the conversation. And if you want to come back for another video, I highly suggest you hit subscribe as well. It helps me and it helps FanArch grow this young brand as we speak. So, thank you, and I will see you guys on the next video. You'll never walk alone.